the entire world of video games has gotten to be so incredibly weird and shaken up over the course of the last 72 hours, with the purchase of Microsoft scooping up Activision Blizzard for $70 billion. Now it seems like certain things are just completely destroyed. It felt like in the past, certain companies were just completely off limits. In the world of console wars, people just cheering on Nintendo or Sony or Xbox, you felt like the third-party developers, they were just the people that were in the stands with us, cheering us on as they made their own games. Things like Final Fantasy or Mass Effect. These are systems that seem like they could exist anywhere. But now, everything has a price tag, which is still just such a baffling concept. But what's more interesting is the fact that now that Microsoft has purchased so much of the entire gaming industry, they have officially said, just a few minutes ago, the head of Xbox straight up stated that he's not afraid of PlayStation. He's not afraid of Nintendo. Instead, he's more worried about things like Facebook or Google trying to buy up things as fast as they are. But I want to talk about that. What's up, gamers? DreamcastGuy here. And before we go into the actual topic, I want to take a look at this list of price tags. This is basically something, this is total market value of other companies that might be for sale very, very soon. This is things like Electronic Arts, worth $40 billion. Take-Two, which means you could buy the entire Grand Theft Auto series for $20 billion. Things like Bandai Namco, Embracer, even things like Ubisoft is only worth $7 billion. Square Enix, under $6 billion. I think that we're about to see a bunch more people trying to scoop stuff up, but my fear is that it's not going to be people like Nintendo, Reggie Fils-Aimé. Obviously, he doesn't work there anymore, but my thought is that it's not going to be the companies that we trust and love that are going to be buying this. It's probably going to be random-ass companies that have really, really rich dudes with 50 yachts buying these companies and turning them into crappy cell phone game factories. But now let's take a look at this interview, which has really been just making the rounds. It actually came out here just about an hour ago. This is over on Washington Post. It was written by my good friend, Gene Park. This guy is an amazing journalist, and he got a chance to sit down with Phil Spencer, the head of Xbox, and talk about the grander implications of such a massive deal. $70 billion for Activision Blizzard is a lot of money, but more than that, this now means that a lot of the most successful MMOs in the entire world right now are owned by one company. And also, they're all led by this one dude. So what does he think about the gaming industry? Now, I've decided to start this article about halfway through it because it's more focused on the video game aspect of stuff, and to me, that's what's most interesting. But I am going to link this in the description box if you're curious about this. I'm happy to actually let you read it for yourself because it is a very great piece of journalism. But here's where we start to talk about the series that are now legally and completely owned by Activision Blizzard. When they were acquiring it, this is the studios that own some of the most popular franchises in the world. Activision Blizzard owns stuff like Call of Duty, World of Warcraft, and Candy Crush. But also, in discussing some of the intellectual properties owned under Activision Blizzard, Spencer's excitement may have mirrored the enthusiasm of a StarCraft player noticing the long-dormant franchise's logo in Microsoft's acquisition announcement. I was looking at the IP list, and I mean, let's go, Spencer said. King's Quest, Guitar Hero. I should know this, but I think we got HeXen. HeXen indeed is owned by Activision Blizzard. It's a cult classic first-person shooter using magic spells. Microsoft's pending acquisition also means that owning the rights to many creations from gaming past, including Crash Bandicoot, the original PlayStation mascot, also things like Spyro the Dragon and Tony Hawk. Like, what's insane about this is just the fact that the scale of this acquisition is something that's just never been seen before. So much art, so many ideas, so many freaking franchises only exist to Microsoft now. Like, it just feels like if you were playing a board game and somebody randomly came up and just took 10 of the pieces and started playing a completely different board game. Like, things have permanently changed with this acquisition. But what I find interesting is beyond just the fact that Toys for Bob, who made Crash Bandicoot 4, there's just so many different things right now that are just working together. But what I found interesting is right here where he starts to talk about what makes him afraid. Because think about it, Microsoft is by far the biggest dog in the fight right now. They have liquid hundreds of billions of dollars. Like, let that sink in. I'm a typical just small random guy. I've got, $50 in my pocket or whatever. Think about the fact that these people have infinitely more money than you or I. We could all pile up all of our money for the rest of our lives and not buy one of these studios. And now I think Xbox owns 35 separate giant studios. And to them, I'm curious about what their chain of thought is on their pile of gold. Now, here's what he says. Spencer said he's concerned about tech companies unfamiliar with the gaming industry barging into the space as opposed to the current experienced competition against Nintendo and Sony. They have a long history in video games. Nintendo's not going to do anything that damages gaming in the long run because that's the business they're in. Sony is the same. I trust them. Valve's the same way. When I look at other big tech competitors for Microsoft, Google has search and Chrome, Amazon has shopping, Facebook has social, all these large-scale consumer businesses. The discussion we've had internally where these things are important is that these other tech companies, for how many consumers they reach, gaming can be that for us. Now, he's speaking a little bit here at business speak, but basically what he's saying is the fact that he sounds like he doesn't want these people in the gaming space. Straight up, Amazon, as many trillions of dollars as they're about to have, which, yes, I said trillion with a T, like, think about it. If Amazon tried to come in here and start just making entire studios, scooping stuff up, Amazon does technically make some games right now like New World, but if they start just trying to barge in and buy their way to the top, which in a way I do feel like Microsoft is doing to a degree, I feel like people like that are definitely going to damage more than they're going to improve this industry, especially stuff like, I don't trust Amazon, I definitely do not trust Facebook, I don't trust Google because they made Google, what was it even called, Stadia? Stadia was an astronomical flop. These people coming in and buying it is only going to hurt the platform. Like straight up, if Facebook comes and buys entirely, if they bought Grand Theft Auto, they would make Grand Theft Auto some sort of stupid cell phone game, or they would make it connected to your Facebook account. Like, they would find a way to completely tank one of the highest profiting franchises, and also something that's filled with so much edgy humor. They would round that out in the most boring, milquetoast, crappy fashion possible. I guarantee it. So it sounds like Microsoft is basically saying, all right, at this point, we're going to buy it before they do. But let me continue reading here. But going back to the article here and directly to the quotes by Phil Spencer, he says this: I think we have a unique point of view, which is not about how everything has to run on a singular device or a platform. That's been the real turning point for us, to look at gaming as a consumer opportunity that could have a similar impact on the Microsoft that some of these other scale consumer businesses do for other big tech competitors. Like, this guy talks in such a weird way sometimes, but basically what he's saying is that clearly he's saying that, like, right now, they just want to make sure that you are going to Microsoft for the video games. It doesn't matter if it's an old school, gigantic, fat Xbox One, or you're trying to do it through Microsoft cloud streaming, or you're going to be doing things on a Windows computer like I'm recording this video right now. It sounds like they're just basically saying that as long as you're coming to Microsoft for your entertainment and you have Game Pass, they consider that a win, which is an interesting take. It feels like such a different direction because, let's face it, Sony and PlayStation, and when it comes to Nintendo, they still very much want you to buy their device. Sony, more than anything else, they want you to have a PlayStation 5. They want you to watch Netflix on your PlayStation 5. They want you to play every single PlayStation 5 exclusive. That's why they've talked in the past about being obsessed with Metacritic scores and making sure they get as many Game of the Year awards as possible. That's why Nintendo constantly churns out so many exclusives like Pokemon and, I don't know, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate crazy DLC and stuff like that. Everybody is trying to fight for their platform, but this is weird because they're basically saying that they want the biggest yard for everybody to play in. As long as it's got that Microsoft fence around it, they consider that a victory. Now, there's one last quote from Microsoft here that I want to read that I feel like is the most interesting because I feel like it's beginning to signal what's the future of Microsoft as a gameplay property is going to be like. And honestly, it's not as scary as I kind of thought. I was a little bit nervous about the idea of just so much power and, quite frankly, money being in the hands of a singular company of Microsoft, but this actually, in a way, sort of puts my fears at ease. But let me check it out. So basically what they say right here is they're talking about how World of Warcraft has hundreds of millions of players, but now this is what he replied. Phil Spencer says, "For us as a platform company, what we've been doing with Xbox and Windows for years is to ask, how do players seamlessly move between these different worlds so that they can have different identities, different clans and groups, but they can still feel anchored in an overall platform experience?" This makes it sound like everything is going to Game Pass. Now, honestly, that sounds like a gigantic W in my book, because it basically says that, hey, we're just going to make it where every game, whether it is indie or AAA or a subscription-based service, it sounds like it could be just all shoved together. It sounds like maybe they'll make it where if you have a subscription to Game Pass Ultimate, you can also play World of Warcraft. If you want to get all the ability to play things like Overwatch 2 when it comes out, if you want to experience all the glories of, the next Call of Duty, all of that is going to exist on Game Pass, which to me, that sounds like the lowest barrier to entry. I feel like this could be an interesting revolution, especially if they start putting Game Pass on other systems. There's been a lot of rumors about the fact that at some point, Microsoft was apparently in talks to try and put Game Pass on Nintendo Switch. It sounds like there may be some preliminary talks about putting Game Pass on PlayStation 5 or PlayStation 4. What does that look like? What does that do? What will be the grander implications of seeing every Xbox exclusive no longer becoming an exclusive? What if this subscription service just takes over every single platform? I'm curious to see what that future looks like, but I'm curious what you guys think. Real quickly before this video ends, I do want to do a quick shout out to my sponsor, which is of course Magic Spoon. They've been fantastic. Check out this. I've been trying to be healthier this year by eating better, running around, and making sure I'm dropping those pounds. And part of that comes down to actually starting your day off right, which is why I've decided to partner with Magic Spoon. This is health cereal that tastes fantastic. Straight up, it's got 0 grams of sugar, 4 net carbs, 13 grams of protein, and only 140 calories per serving. The stuff is delicious. That is the most important part. You're not going to eat something that's healthy if it tastes bad, but this stuff thankfully is great, with flavors that are fruity, chocolatey, or peanut butter. Like, all of them are great. My personal favorite is these ones that are called fruity. They're freaking delicious. And now you can try it for yourself. They have a special thing where they call it the happiness guarantee. If you don't love it, they'll give you 100% of your money back. But try it today using my coupon code, which is DCG21. There's a link for it down below in the description box. Click that link. It goes straight to it. It's magicspoon.com/DCG21 for $5 off your order. You won't regret it. It is straight up good. Thanks so much for watching this video, gamers. If you haven't watched it already, I did do a video this morning talking about the official response from PlayStation about this entire deal and how they're hoping that, well, this goes smoothly for them. That's a fun video. It's already kind of blowing up, so much love to you guys. But also, tell me your thoughts on this subject in the comments down below. And if you could, please give this video a giant like, subscribe if you haven't already, and also be sure to keep dreaming. This has been just such a wild... I'm loving talking about all these video games. I'll be honest, this is the most fun. I'm like having a freaking blast, all right? I just love talking about video games. Every freaking 5 hours, there's another giant topic. Oh my god, I feel like I need to go out in the woods and play my Nintendo Switch and just decompress. Thanks so much for watching that video. If you want to see something else, you can always click this link to see what I put up last, or, subscribe and see what's coming up next. Also, I promise that whatever I do, it'll try not to suck.